Alright, hey everyone. I am not certain where this episode is going to go because I may want to change things for the upload schedule. And what we have currently right now are supports that have nothing to do with. I think if you hear the music, you know what month this is. I'm currently in January. So, what I'm going to do, and I haven't done any, like all the paralogs that I'm going to record are done. I might still do paralogs, but you know. So what we're here for is we're just gonna do supports. And yeah, I might post this before that moment, might post it after. Depends on how I'm feeling. So let's start. Let's do Annette and Linhart. That's kind of a weird one.
I guess taking them all up in one go was a bad idea.
Did I see this one?
Annette? Are you okay with all those boxes?
Once Annette's in the exact same place with a Black Eagle member, worrying about something else.
Linhart! Hi, I'm so glad you're here. I don't know if I'll be able to handle all these.
He's not the best person to ask, but he can't help.
I thought I may as well get it over with, so I decided to carry them all at once. Big mistake.
Smart thinking. Do it all at once. That's what they say, right? Work smart, not hard.
Yeah, whoa, but that's not exactly working smart.
I think you've got it from here, so I'm off to take a nap. Good luck.
But maybe you could help. Nope, gone.
Yeah, I didn't think he'd be the type.
It's fine. It is fine. Just a little further to my quarters. I've got this. I'll just...
Wow, Linhart really just said, peace out!
What? They didn't fall.
That was almost pretty bad.
He came back, alright.
Linhart, I thought you had an important nap to get to.
I'd call it insomnia, but I suppose it was really just a guilty conscience. I came to see if you needed help.
I wonder.
And sure enough, here you are, about to tip all the boxes on the floor.
He was making a joke there, but I'm wondering if he actually legitimately has a condition that not prevents him from sleeping, but the opposite.
Thanks. Though it may have been best if you had just chipped in from the start.
I know I've said that probably like 100 times this playthrough, and from the way people are talking, I don't think that's ever confirmed, but still.
Huh? But it was your job. Why would I step in? You clearly had things handled.
Then why help me at all?
Good question.
If the boxes had fallen just now, everyone would have had to help tidy them up anyway.
Fair enough, but it doesn't have to be you.
If anything broke, more boxes would need to be carried.
True.
And if all of that came to pass, then there'd be noise and more noise and no chance of my taking a nap.
I guess that's fair, but you just said guilty conscience, Linhart.
Huh. But if you had helped me from the start, there would have been no danger of anything being dropped at all.
That's true.
Correct. But there was no danger yet, and so there was no need for my help. So I left you to it.
Linhart, something's not quite adding up with that story.
Try carrying one box at a time instead of straining to do it all at once. Work smart, not hard, as they say.
Yes, that is what I would think would be the smart thing to do. Carrying like a couple at a time instead of all of them. But I'm reminded of a game, Detroit Become Human. Anybody heard of it? Where there was a decision you had to make to save somebody, and there was a 84% chance that they would save themselves. And if you ignored that choice and you decided to go on ahead without them, then they get mad at you and saying that you were gonna fall. And then when you try to explain the statistic, they say, what am I, just a number to you? Anyways, the point is, Linhart said there was no danger. I would say maybe there was like a 70% chance. Well, maybe not a 70% chance of her fall. Yeah, I'd say 70% chance for her to drop the boxes. So, therefore, I would say there was always a chance of danger. Even if there was a 30% chance, it's still a chance. Chance is a big part of fire and when I make my strats. I don't leave things up to chance.
All right, well, I think you've got it from here, so I'm off. Good luck.
After all that, he's not gonna help me.
Yeah, I didn't think Linhart be the guy to ask, but... Oh, alright, now Linhart, Let's not have a problem. Alright? Be civil, be cool, and respectful.
Ah, there it is. Just as I thought.
You went up so much in my eyes, man. Let's not have a problem.
But what is she hiding?
Again! You gotta be kidding me! Alright. Linhart, I'm gonna need you to stop inspecting my team about their crests.
Oh, Linhart. My apologies. I didn't mean to bother you.
Ah, Marianne. You're no bother at all. In fact, you've arrived at precisely the right time.
Huh? The right time for what?
This is not the right... What? He's gonna just step on her toes too, just like Lysithea.
You have a crest, don't you?
Yes.
I don't... What are you saying?
If you hide it, that just makes it more interesting. You do have one.
Seriously? When Edelgard reveals herself, Linhart better have some one-off line saying, you know, I always had a suspicion, because there is no way he did not suspect that Edelgard has 2 crests.
Please don't tell anyone.
If he in completely different houses and investigating them.
You can't tell anyone I have a crest. If people find out, then...
What?
Please, my adoptive father told me to keep it a secret.
Yeah. That hit for some reason. She said it with more emotion than normal, I feel.
And I personally don't want it known.
Who said I intended to tell anyone? Your secret is safe with me. I find it fascinating that you carry the crest of the erased hero.
Yo, this Linhart needs to be stopped. He needs to be stopped. No, not stopped. Nerved.
Please stop, don't say another word. No one should know about or even speak of my crest. Nothing good comes of it. It's even the reason my parents disappeared. This crest only brings bad luck to anyone who comes near me.
I was saying for a different reason. I'll explain after.
Even you, Linhart, you have to stay away.
Bad luck generated by the crest? Now that would be a discovery well worth making.
Catherine seems to think, the crest of Karen has some sort of ring affinity tied to it.
What manner of bad luck do you suppose might beset me?
Which I guess would have been, I asked a question of the day, and I just posted the episode on if people would like to be a relic wielder. Knowing if certain crests had side effects concretely might have swayed people's decision.
No, you shouldn't be so cavalier about something you couldn't possibly understand.
That's why I said, something that's been, I'll kind of touch on it now. There are so many different areas, and they have so many different ways of living. We also touched on it with Ferdinand and Petra. Sorry, a thought crossed my mind as I said that. What I'm basically saying is, one thing that's been stuck on my mind is Edelgard's lying to Claude on how he doesn't possibly understand he doesn't know Volan's suffering, so she couldn't entrust Volan to him. This just makes me wonder, because this is something, unless you're in Marianne's territory, you wouldn't know what this, what this is. So it's just interesting. I just think every area has their problems, and for me, I would sincerely doubt that Edelgard knows all the problems of all the different areas. But anyways,
I have to go.
It's true, I don't understand, but I very much want to.
Meanwhile, what I was trying to get to is, if Linhart doesn't know, I'm not trying to say that Linhart knows more than Edelgard, but as intelligent as he is, well, no, Edelgard's been in the... I just wanted to point that out. That is just something I'm thinking about. How every area has their problems. I'll say it like this. I'll need to see her in Lysithea's B rank, because... Well, I guess it wouldn't really matter if Edelgard always knew Lysithea was one of the victims. She'd still start the war regardless, and, if Lysithea was not on her side, which, in the Golden Deer she wasn't, then, You know, she still has gotta do what she gotta do. From her perspective. Just pondering some things. Okay. So on that note, yeah, let's continue. Why not? But these are the juicy. You know what? Let's continue.
Flayn, I have another question for you, if you please.
This is really just him investigating my old team.
Another one, Linhardt? When will you leave me in peace?
A breakthrough has been made concerning your crest. A major crest of Saint Sethleen, correct?
Really?
Well, yes. I've been trying to keep that quiet.
Part of my interest on this topic is that I possess a minor crest of Sethleen myself.
I am aware.
How did that happen, Flayn? Tell me, was it blood transfusion? It would have to be. There's no way Seth would allow her to. But, like, I don't think that any of the noble houses are legitimate heirs.
Possessing a minor crest is uncommon, but not rare among the noble families.
I would like to very much know the depths of... Well, at least for the Imperial... Well, we'll see. We'll see.
However, a major crest of Sethleen, that is beyond rare.
So you're another... I think only one other support pointed out that major crests are a big deal.
Oh, is it?
I am quite curious as to why you were born with such a rare major crest.
Dadgum, Linhardt?
Given that mine is a minor crest of the same type, it's possible that you and I are distant relations.
Yeah, could be.
You and I related? I am quite certain that is not the case.
Okay. I mean, I had the feeling, but still, it's nice to get it confirmed.
Oh, do you have access to a detailed ancestry? That could be a most useful tome.
Yeah?
No, I do not. However...
A shame. Oh, to explore one's lineage and investigate such possibilities.
Linhardt, you should take Hanneman up on his offer. You are definitely worth to be his... Well, I'd say protege, but successor.
Alas, the odds of your being a direct descendant of Saint Sethleen are quite low.
Why did you mention that? Why did you mention that? Wouldn't that... Something else I should mention. Somebody pointed out that if... Because, again, just uploaded this episode. It was during that episode, but if Lysithea and Edelgard revealed to the church... Well, Lysithea specifically, I think Edelgard would cause a lot more questions. Lysithea, if she revealed to the church that they had two crests, they said that it would prove that the teachings of the Church of Ceros were bogus. In what way? Because, from my understanding, the Church of Ceros teaches that the crests are from the goddess. Right? I might have to go back and check. Yeah, I'm gonna go check the library after this. I need to know that for this conversation in particular, actually.
The prevailing theory among respectable scholars is that Saint Sethleen died, having never married.
Oh, even more confirmation.
It's true she's unmarried. Was unmarried, that is.
Wow, another big slip up by Flayn. Like, even correcting yourself that quickly? Like, if you just said it normally and then just kind of brushed it off, I think saying unmarried and then was unmarried, that draws attention to it.
I hate to disappoint you, but I'm not a descendant of Saint Sethleen. Of this, I can assure you.
That's technically true.
While I do not subscribe to your absolute certainty, I do agree your relation to her is highly unlikely.
Now see, that part is untrue.
Yet there is some connection between yourself and Saint Sethleen.
They're the same person, my guy.
What was that you were mumbling to yourself?
Nothing. My apologies. Simply thinking aloud. I do hope we can continue this discussion sometime.
Darn it.
He always acts so oddly. It makes me ill at ease.
This is, I find this so interesting how it's literally, when it comes to the Golden Deer and, you know, my initial house, and I would include Flayn in that as well, it's just him investigating them. Meanwhile, Happy just, you know, has it out in the open. Alright, now let's... Which I want, you know... That's actually a good question. The Ashen Wolves kind of disproved that, wouldn't it? Because they are aware that their crests, first off, they're not normal. Only one who hides her crest was Constance. Well, no, they tell each other, but not anybody else, I think. At least in this story. Of course, in the Ashen Wolves, you know that they know their crest exists. How does the story go exactly? Like, how do the crests? Okay, here we go. When humans wish for power, she granted it. You know, this part is actually true. But humanity thrived through her blessings. You know, in a way, this part isn't so false. Okay, this part right here. Did I not go over this when I came to read this? Descendants of the heroes sought their power and thusly their blood. Alright. I think that person who said that comment, which I hope they're watching this video, I don't think there'd be any problem with Lysithea revealing that she had 2 crests. Because what that told me, it was telling the truth without telling the truth, right? Because the real story is Sothis bore children, right? Those children had the power, their own powers, right? And humanity took that power for their own. And those people were her greatest enemies. That's one of those things where it's like, they're her greatest enemies, and yet I feel like to teach a lesson to... Is now a time? Okay. I think I know what I'm going to do. This actually is going to end up being a major, very important episode. But I think it's important to have this now, and I'll probably put this before... Yeah, okay. My interpretation of RHEA and what she's doing has to deal with what we learn in the Abyss. I need the actual text. Yeah, if we're gonna do this, let's do this right. Alright, where is the book I need? Okay, I'm realizing it's not what I want here, because this is just talking about Sothis being, well, the end of humanity, I would think. That will sink the world to the depths of the ocean, bring the extinction, children of men, and salvation to all beasts of the land, sky, and sea. Oh, no, it is here. For the children of men who spill too much of the blood of life, it promises only cruel retribution. That's what I needed. So, basically, my thing is this. From what I take Sothis to be, yeah, I'm going to talk about Sothis and RHEA. Sothis seems like, if we take the Earth as your body, she is an antibody and humanity is a virus. Or, I've heard, when I think one of my teachers in school, when asked, what is the meaning of life? And he said, life is a virus. Whether I agree with that, that's a different story. That's kind of getting real philosophical. My whole point is this. The humanity they're talking about is the Agarthans, right? And according to RHEA, which I think I might need that as well. Yeah, hang on, I'll be back. I'm going to need Verdant Wind, King of Liberation, I think.
A long time ago, the progenitor god came from somewhere far away and descended upon this continent.
Okay.
She changed her form to resemble that of a human and gave her own blood to birth her children.
I need the truth of this too.
The progenitor god and her children shared
Yes.
knowledge and skills with the people of the land. Together, they built a prosperous civilization.
I am going to believe RHEA on this particular line, especially since, you know, she said she has nothing to hide at this point.
But the humans turned their backs on the teachings of the progenitor god and engaged in senseless wars. Eventually, people began to think of themselves as gods and challenged the progenitor god herself to battle.
I actually forgot about that part.
The land was scorched in the war that ensued, and the majority of humans were annihilated. I believe that those who slither in the dark are the descendants of those who retreated beneath the ground during that time.
All right. So basically, is there anything else that I need from this?
They've been waiting.
It took the progenitor god an astonishing amount of time to revive the ravaged world. But eventually, the continent found peace again, and the progenitor god, having fulfilled her duty, fell into a long slumber in the holy tomb.
All right. So from my perspective, and actually I should let me look through this a little bit more.
The children, I wanted to use that heart to resurrect her.
Now, I wonder if Nemesis killed Silthus or if she just fell asleep, and because that's the one thing I'm unclear of.
Even though I had to do some questionable things to achieve that goal.
And this is the
I
line.
wished to see Sothis, my mother, once more.
This is the line I've been thinking about since it ended, and I was like, this must be where Edelgard lies, but I thought it didn't matter since Rhea's gonna die soon.
Yes. I believed that if I could resurrect my mother, I could regain all that had been lost.
So,
I suspected that your body housed those suspicions were correct. My dearest wish did not come. Now, you must.
Now, on that note, there's actually one more thing I want to point out. This part is the last piece.
Citri had always been frail. Giving birth proved to be too much for her in the end. On that fated day, it looked as though neither of you would survive. In those final moments, she spoke, saying, "My heart, give it to my child."
This is the last piece of the puzzle when I think analyzing RHEA. From the beginning, my heart wouldn't beat.
That is correct. The heart that lies within your chest is none other than hers. It was the only way that you could be saved. But Citri loved others, much as a human might, and I loved her in return.
Okay. So that's the last piece that I need. Yeah, we can just... So, let's go back to where we were in the library. Let's talk about RHEA and Sothis. So, while there are different interpretations on the facts, and I am certainly going to hear if Edelgard or the Agarthans have anything to say in this route. Here is my current thing about RHEA. Number one, well, starting with Sothis. Sothis came, and it's unclear on whether she was meant to save people and rumors made them attack her, or if she literally was for their destruction. Obviously, that's RHEA's mom, you know, she's gonna have a biased view. Here's one thing that they both seem to claim, though. Humanity was using the power they gained from her. Well, actually, that's just mentioned here, but still. Humanity was... I mean, it's not so hard to believe that humanity is causing wars, right? Because, yeah, I guess I should start with the Agarthans. I believe that the Agarthans, as soon as I saw them, and maybe this is because I was playing another game at the time, or I just finished another game on my channel. If you guys, you know. I won't say which game it is, just because it's massive spoilers for that game, but the Agarthans I look at, well, I was going to be dramatic, are us. Or, you know, not specifically us, but they have, you know, like rockets, like we have rockets. They're magical, of course. They have technology. They're advanced, right? Obviously, we can't bring people back to life, but their technology is far beyond what a normal Fire Emblem game has. So for me, I was like, the Agarthans are us. We have many wars nowadays, you know, even though we're so advanced. And we certainly haven't achieved world peace. And we've caused a lot of animals to go to extinction, right? Those are just facts. That sounds like it would be a perfect opportunity, or very similar to when Sothis would appear. And maybe we would think, that Sothis had appeared to like this really powerful animal or beast. I actually, Sothis apparently has a form in Fire Emblem Heroes that she transforms into. I am not sure if that's canon or not. Part of me is wondering if that's maybe like the final boss of Edelgard's route. If so, I wonder how that would even happen. Unless the Agarthans did something to like bring her back. That would be interesting if it was. I haven't looked at Sothis transform one time. So either way, point is that what I am thinking is that Sothis, like I said, was like an antibody for the Earth almost. Humanity hurting so many animals, at least, it caused her, the guardian of the animals, you could say, to come out and stop what's hurting them. But according to RHEA, which I do think this part is true, they tried to help humanity and give them, maybe they are part of the reason that humanity, gained so much power. And so humanity tries to take that power and fight Sothis. That's also something I can believe, right? Especially with, those absolute power corrupts absolutely. And again, once again, that was like RHEA's "I feel like" deathbed quote. Maybe not, but it certainly did seem like it. She was injured and she said she had nothing left to hide. So, all that said, when Sothis dies, yes, RHEA states that one of her goals is to bring back her mother. But I would go as far as to say that RHEA wanted to avoid the mistakes that Sothis put into place. There's actually one more thing I should have shown you all, but there were many documents down in the abyss that were talking about how RHEA would prevent certain practices from coming about, right? Like telescopes, for example, saying that it would it was saying like it would reveal RHEA's lie, right? And because apparently, Sothis is supposed to live up in the stars. If you had a telescope, you could see it and you'd be like, wait, what? Nah, what is that hot ball of fire? Well, it's not fire, it's actually nuclear fusion, but they wouldn't know that. Either way, point is that I also think that part of what RHEA was doing was to prevent humanity from getting too powerful again. Because as long as the technology doesn't reach a certain point, RHEA can pretty much handle herself, right? The instant they get to a point where like Thales had, with those rockets, then it's not so hard to take out somebody of RHEA's caliber. And a bunch of you have been saying that as well, that RHEA wanted to hold on to her power. But I'm thinking it's because she thought that peace could be achieved the best way if humanity did not progress to the level of the Agarthans. At least that's how I take it. So, and to go further, and yeah, let's talk about that, because while Edelgard said, Ferdinand's dad and his gaggle of nobles were responsible for the experiments on her and her siblings. That part's true, but how'd they get that? Edelgard says, well, I speak about on this, it may be later. Well, it's earlier than this episode, but I might post that episode after this. She calls it gruesome deeds in Dusker and Enbar. The only gruesome deed I've heard of is what happened to Edelgard's family, and I certainly think that is a gruesome deed. It should count. So I'm basically saying the Agarthans are the ones. They experimented on Lysithea. I would think they're also the ones who experimented on Edelgard. Thales says all to give you the strength you need, all for a purpose. My whole point is, if RHEA had her way, humanity would never get to the point to where they could experiment on people like that, and therefore those gruesome deeds would not have happened. Now, I am not trying to sit here and say that RHEA is all good, or even saying that all the stuff that she's doing is good. I'm not trying to say that. I'm just saying, from my perspective, when I heard about the Agarthans, I'm like, oh, well, if you personally lived through a situation like that, where the Agarthans you see them taking the gifts you gave them and rebelling, controlling the next generation of humanity in a way such as this would seem like the right way to go from her perspective. Again, I'm not saying it's right. That's for you all to decide. I'm just putting my thoughts on why I thought she was doing what she's doing. But what I will talk about is us and the whole Creststone being in us. Because RHEA says she had to do some questionable things to revive her mother, and a bunch of people have been pointing out the differences on how Sothis might be brought back. The latest thing I heard was Sothis's throne. How when we sit down in Sothis's throne, which is, I mean, I kind of more or less thought this, but just didn't actually verbalize it or like thought it. When we sit down in Sothis's throne, we'll fuse with Sothis, and then bada bing, bada boom. But my focus has always been on Sothis, not RHEA. Let me explain. When I thought I was gonna say that when Kranya appeared, there was something I wanted to point out when we got to that point, and that's what would happen if Sothis normally grew. Right? Follow me on this. Even if we sat down in that throne, the agreement had to be between Sothis and myself. At least that's how it seemed. Sothis decided she would give us just her power, so we could leave, even though we're the ones who made a mistake. Even if we fused, at least with the current Sothis, is there a guarantee that Sothis would have taken us over? I think that decision isn't up to RHEA. It's strictly up to Sothis. And what I was wondering about is, if Sothis had regained all her memories, would she feel the need to take over us forcefully? Would she even need the throne for that? I don't know. But I do think that RHEA was in the dark about a bunch of things concerning that throne, because she said she heard Sothis's voice there when she was younger. And she thought that just by us sitting on the throne, after we had already fused, that it would bring her mother back. And that's not what happened. I think RHEA was kind of just, guessing and trying stuff at that moment. But that all leads to, how do I feel about RHEA trying to possibly kill us to bring her mother back? And here's my thing. If it had been that RHEA had experimented on a child to put the heart of her mother inside to try to bring her back, then I would have been like, whoa. Nah, that's wrong on so many levels. But that's not exactly what happened according to the Ashen Wolf storyline. I played the clip for you guys myself. RHEA says, unless this is a huge lie, in that case, then yes, RHEA, that's the absolute scum to do, to lie about our mother's last words, to cover up your own mistake. But considering how much she loved Citri, and considering how she was always frail, and it's a nice motherly thing to do, I can believe that Citri wanted to give us her heart. So if that's the case, if that's the case, then that means our own mother is responsible for us having this heart. And according to RHEA, it's the only way we would have lived. We would not be here if we did not have Sothis's heart in us. And just that act alone caused Sothis to be born, or inside of us again. So I can't hold that against RHEA, right? What I can hold her against is trying to bring us back with said heart. But the thing about it is, one, it didn't work, and two, right after that in the Golden Deer, she relinquishes her power to me. She says it twice, one before the battle and two during the battle, where we're about to go fight and RHEA's like, no. I'll leave everyone here in your hands. I'm going to go off to the battlefield and you do what you got to do. Then she gets captured for 5 years and subjected to who knows what. I'm pretty sure Edelgard experimented on her to get that axe. And 3, the biggest one for me, she sacrifices herself against Talus's rockets, magical rockets, and saves me, but more importantly, the golden deer as well. Regardless on if she only cared about saving me because we had her mother's power in us, alright? I don't care about the intent. What I care about is what actually happened. I always say some of the worst things done are done with good intentions. Oh, I had good intentions. Okay, you had good intentions, but you still hurt people. You know? That's kind of my mentality. In this case, RHEA may have had selfish intentions, but she still saved my team. And for that, I feel like with all the things I listed, it makes up for her trying to kill me when it didn't even work. And we don't even know if I would have been dead because Celtis still communicates with us after we fuse. And once again, I wouldn't even be alive if we didn't have this heart in us. So for me, it's kind of hard to hold that against RHEA. Now, once again, I am not trying to defend RHEA. I'm not trying to say that what she's doing is right or wrong when it comes to, you know, manipulating the people on a false history and everything. That's for a different subject. But what I am trying to say is that it does not matter when it comes to Edelgard. Because what I am doing, if I don't choose to do Edelgard's route, is not to say that I'm choosing RHEA. I mean, by default, that's what I'm doing, but it's more so I wouldn't want to continue with Edelgard. It's more so I don't want the Golden Deer to die, or at least some of them, for a cause that I wouldn't fully believe in. And I think that's my whole thing. Edelgard determines if I go with her or not how bad RHEA is. Because at the end of the day, especially if I already know that her route goes pretty much like the Golden Deer, then I know the actions that RHEA will take, and I'm like, alright. So hopefully that kind of clarifies my stance on RHEA. I think now is a good time to say that. I got all the facts, and I don't have to do so much editing. Wow, all that from a conversation with Linhardt and Flame. So yeah, on that note, I still don't think that Lysithea having 2 crests, I mean, people might have some questions, but it always could be the fact of, well, if they follow her family tree. But no, it specifically says in the text, the blood of the heroes. Hey. Okay, you don't have to yell, right? The blood of the heroes still carries on, right? Even after they died. So, and that's probably what happened, right? They used the blood of the saints, or at least some people who had the crests, and they just made them manifest in Lysithea. And it caused a lot of trial and errors, and you could say that all the people who died are a sign that the goddess didn't want people experimenting on the gifts that she gave them. Again, I know that's not true. I'm just saying, I don't think that would prove 2 crests exactly would prove that what RHEA is saying is a lie. Now, the relics might make people question things. But again, I could easily just explain that as in, those who weren't chosen aren't wielding the weapons. That doesn't seem like the hardest thing to explain to me. But, okay, on that note, let's get back. Flame and Ferdinand. He's cleaning the weapons again.
Good day, Ferdinand. Working on your armor again?
Good day to you too. That is right. I have been overusing it a bit lately.
That's right, you do wear armor.
Now, allow me to wager a guess. Are you feeling hungry as usual?
I am, after all that talking.
As usual? It is not as though I am always searching for a meal.
Well, you are hungry often.
I am rather interested in armor. Do you mind if I peer over your shoulder while you work?
Of course not. Please, feel free to observe.
Thank you for allowing me the pleasure. Ooh, so many different types. Wow, helmets, armor, gauntlets. The range of defensive items seems innumerable.
I wouldn't say innumerable.
This one seems different from the rest of them. It is akin to a gauntlet, except...
Flame, careful!
That's a weapon.
Huh? Oh!
Flame, are you all right? Did you injure yourself?
Did it have like a hidden blade?
I am well. But what was that?
That could have been serious. Please forgive me. I should have warned you first. This is a new type of gauntlet with a spring-loaded blade over the knuckles.
Really?
The mechanism is rather easily triggered. How foolish of me not to warn you.
No, I am the one who was overly curious and reached out without permission. My apologies. But,
Whoa.
when you snatched me out of harm's way, you...
Whoa.
You embraced me quite tightly.
Whoa, whoa, whoa!
Yes. You were in danger and my instincts simply took hold. I hope you will forgive my rashness.
I'm sure it's forgiven, bruh.
No, it is not that at all. It is just... You hugged me so tight.
What is this?
Did it hurt? I am so sorry, Flame. I did not mean to cause you any discomfort.
Not at all. Not in the slightest. Anyway, I had better be on my way.
Alright.
Such a delicate creature.
Oh no.
And that sweet demeanor.
Oh no!
Snap out of it, Ferdinand.
You know, that's a shame. If things go according to plan, I'm pretty sure these two will meet on the battlefield. Oh yeah, Mercedes and then Marianne's. Should I continue it? Nah. Well... Okay, let's switch to Petra and Ash, because I feel like that won't... Well... Nah, let's just continue with Ferdinand.
Are you enjoying this lovely day, Dorte? Everyone seems to be in such good spirits.
Marianne, do you have a moment?
You know, it is totally canon that Marianne rides Dorothy at the end. Actually, I don't think I ever got her to her... Yeah, she never got to ride her in the Golden Deer route, at least. Blue Lion she did, but...
Oh, Ferdinand. What do you need?
I have been thinking about what you said.
I didn't mean to upset you. You should just ignore me and...
You misunderstand. It is not that you upset me.
He's trying to be considerate.
Honestly, you mystify me. You are a noble, and yet you do not wish to be one. Is that not so?
This Ferdinand is... Well, I say this Ferdinand, but you know, the one... He's learning so much from so many different people. I like this.
I did not expect to hear that from the daughter of Margrave Edmund.
Yeah, who tried to become one, just based off of his own efforts, I guess. Yeah, actually. Huh. That is what he did, even though I hate the guy.
But I'm not actually his daughter. He's a distant relative. We share very little of the same blood.
And that's true, Marianne might have helped that.
But still, you come from a noble lineage, do you not?
Oh, no. I'm just a minor noble from the countryside.
And yet, wouldn't she inherit everything from him? Well, if he's that type of guy.
Minor though it may be, you were born into a noble family, which means you are a noble too. We did not choose to become nobles. We were born into the nobility.
That is true.
I understand, but that's why I said I don't care to be responsible. I had no say in the matter.
Yeah.
Marianne,
My parents and I have suffered because of this bloodline and crest. Even so, I am prepared to do what I must, as the daughter of a noble family.
Really?
But to be told that's still not enough, I just...
I see. I will not pretend to understand.
Okay.
But you should try to calm down a bit.
I'm not sure about the second part, but I will not pretend to understand. That's a good line, Ferdinand.
Certainly things did not turn out the way you had hoped. But the conditions are such that...
She can improve, I'm not sure.
Conditions?
Yeah.
Those will never change. There's nothing to do but give up. Please just leave. Ignore me.
There will be no convincing you. Very well. I will go.
Oh, Goddess. Why did you curse me with such suffering?
She really needed her paralogue. She really needed it. And it's for those exact reasons why I had to recruit Marianne. Because people told me she will not show up. And the signs are there. Even if it's not explicitly stated. this is saving Marianne by bringing her here. Well, aside from the obvious, you know, we might meet on the battlefield. I don't know if she'll even make it to that timeline. But alright. Mercedes. This should be interesting. I think.
Oh, Mercedes. This is unexpected.
Do you know her too? I mean, if you know Constance.
Hello, Ferdinand. Did you come to pray?
I did. I quite like the atmosphere in the cathedral. It is holy and solemn. Perfectly suited to a noble, wouldn't you say?
His world is gonna be rocked in a few months.
I guess so.
You guess so? I think the matter is rather clear-cut. It is incumbent upon nobles that we pray regularly to the goddess.
It is? Interesting.
The piety of the nobles is a model for commoners. It teaches them the value of devotion.
Absolutely. I know exactly what you mean. I couldn't agree more.
You know, I forgot. I mean, Ferdinand probably still thinks of Mercedes as a noble, but currently she's a commoner right now.
These days, many nobles scarcely, if ever, pray. Look around. You and I are alone in this cathedral. It is really quite a shame.
He does still think of her as one.
Well, I don't really know that I count as a noble anyway.
I am afraid the nobility seems to be losing its way. When you pray, you are usually alone, right?
Yes, you're right. I usually am.
Precisely. Where are the others? Of course you cannot force people to worship. That is out of the question. Nobles must determine for themselves what they will believe and how they will pray.
Well, I agree with you on that, but it would also be great. Oh, shoot, my headphone's about to die. If we could choose the nobles as well.
A religion foisted on you without your say is not much of a religion at all. Do you not agree?
That's true.
Yes, I definitely agree. Definitely agree.
On the other hand, we cannot stand idly by while...
It was great talking to you, but I'm getting pretty sleepy.
Wow!
I'm gonna head off to bed. Good night.
Ferdinand, if you even got Mercedes... Well, Mercedes is incredibly nice. But this is a conversation that hits really close to home.
All in all, one has to conclude. Mercedes, where did she go? I must have inspired her to go out and revive the faith. Perhaps I should do the same. I cannot let her show me up.
Your heart's in the right place, man, but this is one of those things I was talking about. Worst things done with good intentions. He had good intentions. He always does, but he ends up stepping on people's toes along the way. He will learn, of course, but that's a lighter example of what I'm talking about. Alright, last two. Petra and Ash.
Ash, I need to give you more gratitude for the commoner techniques you showed me.
Yeah, pretty useful.
Commoner techniques? Oh, you mean when I haggled for you?
Sorry.
Yes, it has made for many savings. I was telling the professor, we both are so happy.
I mean, yeah, having a lot of money saved is definitely making me happy.
Really, it wasn't a big deal, but I'm glad the professor was pleased.
What's up?
What is it? Do I have something on my face?
For a lot of time, I was living in the Imperial capital. Then I came here, to the monastery. Both places contain many nobles, and many chances to be learning noble customs.
But you think it might be time to learn some commoner ones?
That's true. When you're surrounded by new people, you naturally pick up all kinds of stuff.
Naturally.
Though with nobles, there's a lot to learn. All the etiquette is overwhelming. Not to mention the dancing. I just keep stepping on my partner's feet.
Fair.
In Fodlan, the nobles are training for dancing since their youth. They have much skill.
Funny since, well, yeah, when this uploaded, it'll be around the time when Dorothea got her class.
When I was a kid, I spent most of my time helping out at my parents' restaurant and playing with my brother and sister. Back then, I never dreamed I'd ever be studying at a proper academy with all these nobles.
I have learned many customs of the nobles, but few of the commoners. I am hoping you will teach me, Techniques, secret skills, anything. All of the things.
You know, people say they don't, well, I've heard that people don't really like cross-house supports. It's how you get a wider view, you know, a more complete view of the story.
Secret skills? I don't think I know anything that fancy.
That is not the truth. The technique for money saving could be helpful even for nobles.
Yeah?
It has use for all the world.
I don't know about that. Really, I don't have any special secrets.
You might not even realize it, but your talents could be very beneficial to somebody else.
Commoner wisdom is only to be shared with commoners, then? I have understanding. Forbidden knowledge.
No, not necessarily.
Ash, how about we make a bargain? We can be trading information.
Though that wouldn't be so bad.
In Brigid, powerful curse techniques are passed down.
What?
And we can speak with the spirits. I can be teaching you these things.
I mean, if Petra's crit technique is a powerful curse technique, then yeah, I can believe that.
What? Curses? No. I don't need any dangerous information like that. But if you really insist, I guess I could teach you a few things about what life is like on the streets. Would that be enough?
You will be showing me the secret techniques? I cannot be waiting!
That's not what I meant.
Huh. That is interesting. I would like to see where that goes. And then finally, Dorothea and Hanneman.
Professor Hanneman, how unexpected.
Hello, Miss Dorothea. There is something I would like to ask you, should you have a moment.
Okay.
And whatever would that be, Professor?
It's just some rumor I heard.
Oh.
About your prejudice against the nobility.
More information about that.
You remember when you came to me before, and we talked about how I used to be noble? I was just wondering what your aim was.
For asking the question?
To clarify, I only hate nobles who are obsessed with their status.
Ferdinand in a nutshell. Well, that explains that.
You're not that kind of man, Professor. I mean that, really. And it sounds like you never were.
I see. But hating nobles obsessed with their status, you must have had some terrible experience in the past. My apologies. That was rather presumptuous.
Yeah, Hannah, man, I didn't expect that from you.
No, it's fine. As I'm sure you know, I was a highly praised songstress for a time. Before I was a singer, though, I was an orphan. And before that, I was the daughter of a noble's maid.
A noble's maid? I'm assuming then you are the daughter of a noble, but he won't claim you.
My goodness. From an orphan to a renowned songstress. That is quite a life you have led, Miss Dorothea.
Well, I don't remember much of my early years. My father was never there, and my mother was driven out of the noble house where she worked. Before long, she fell ill.
Oh no, okay, it doesn't have to be that. But I'm gonna check her log just to make sure. It could have been just that her mother got pregnant and she was working with, under a noble house, and maybe because she was pregnant, then she was kicked out.
I was always alone, and I lived in the alleys of the imperial capital.
Wow!
Trying to survive from one day to the next.
Real? I didn't... Wow!
I see.
Eventually, after I became a singer, I met the nobleman that I think is my father.
Okay, so he was a nobleman.
Oh.
He'd had a child with a maid, but the child didn't have a crest.
Wow.
So he threw them both away.
Wow.
Those were his very words. I can't prove that he really was my father, but I suppose it doesn't matter.
It doesn't. Both in the sense that your real father is not here for you now, and in the sense that he is a scumbag for doing that. Regardless of if the two are connected. Wow, Dorothea.
He didn't know who I was. And when he flirted with me, my feelings were something beyond fury.
Oh, yeah.
I was dumbfounded.
Wow.
In truth, I felt that way about all of the nobles who flocked around me. yet would just as easily have tossed me away should it better suit them.
Because if their child didn't have a crest.
You have my most heartfelt of apologies, Dorothea.
Yeah.
I am afraid my curiosity has opened old wounds.
Yeah, Hannah, man, that was quite the slip up, but I appreciate the backstory she gave us.
Sadly, it is undeniable that the nobility is full of such terrible people.
Indeed. You know, funny enough, and I think Dorothea just did more for Edelgard's cause than Edelgard did herself. We'll talk about that.
Perhaps even myself.
Hannah, man.
Professor?
This he's not gonna say now. It's the A rank.
Oh, it is nothing.
Yeah.
Just lost in a memory of my own. Just know that I will do my part to ensure that you always know kindness in this world.
Yeah, see, Hannah, man just signed up for the cause. He's like, if Edelgard asked me, yeah, for Dorothea's sake.
Thank you.
I'm not kidding. Dorothea may have just convinced me to do the route. Yeah, oh, wow. Wow. Seriously? I didn't expect that of all things. Dorothea. The person who I was saying... Yeah, I think she did. Okay. Let's talk about why I'm saying that. I was gonna wonder if I should split this episode into one part, but now... Or two parts, but now I think I'm definitely keeping it one. The reason I am saying that is because when Edelgard told me her backstory, the only thing I could think of is that Edelgard's pain is not normal, right? That is not a situation that can happen to just anyone. In fact, it's the only other people it could have happened to are either dead or I'm pretty sure Lysithea Von Ordelia, the one and only. Because she was the test, Edelgard was the result. I am also not certain if Edelgard's crest will kill her or not early. I haven't said that, but it's always been in the back of my mind. I had other, I had other priorities at the time. But anyways, so when Edelgard was telling me her backstory, that wasn't enough. I was like, okay, yeah, but especially when the only other person who might have actually shared her pain, because she said for the sake of everyone who had been sacrificed, she'll change the world. And it's, I guess maybe you could say I was, well, I don't remember the wording exactly, but immediately I was thinking like at the end, I'm like, see, the whole thing is I started with the Golden Deer and you were attacking her. One of the biggest issues in the route was when Lysithea was telling her backstory, I couldn't help but think of Edelgard and be like, really? Really? Edelgard von Hraesvelg? And it angered me. In fact, it was right here where Lysithea introduced the idea that Edelgard was subjected just like her. She was right here. 5 years later, but What's so different about Dorothea's situation is I can believe that many people would be similar to Dorothea's situation. I've heard of, of course we had like Sylvain and his brother, but House Gautier they're a bit of a different story. Like, while I don't approve of their methods either, they do have a motive, right? They are protecting a border, Srang, which is another thing I'm kind of wondering about. It's like, Edelgard, you go to war, and then House Gonriel and House Gautier are both trying to protect borders. You start a war and they get involved, they lose their lances and their axes, and Sylvain be on the battlefield, Hilda would 110% be on the battlefield because there's no way she joins Edelgard. They lose the axe. Maybe her brother gets involved and he falls as well, and because he wouldn't just give up, especially if his sister died. He loves Hilda. And but even bigger still, the Elmirans themselves. Like, wait, Claude got killed by who? Oh, nah. All right. since Holst is gone, let's just stroll in and let's go get the Emperor's head. You know, obviously you guys have already finished the route and you probably already know that didn't happen. I'm just saying those are very legitimate concerns. And, well, anyways. Especially if Claude, but I don't know if Claude lives or dies. I don't. Alright, anyways, the whole point I'm trying to say is that Dorothea's case, it doesn't make me agree with Edelgard on the war, but I could, where does it say? I could fight to make sure that Dorothea didn't have, I mean, I still think there were, like, if Edelgard had managed to talk to Dimitri, Claude, and I assume responsibility of the church, we could have changed the world that way. Basically, I'm just trying to say that Dorothea's story, it's something I can go behind, right? Or Bernadetta's story, but what's different about Bernadetta's versus Dorothea's? Because I guess because they are nobles, Dorothea's, she is a commoner and she had such a heart. Like I guess it just hits more close to home, you know? Like in our world right now, you can best believe there are people who have been through that. And it's a shame, but it certainly does happen. But actually on the flip side, that's also why I still find it hard to agree with Edelgard's war, because I know stuff like that happens in our world too. Getting rid of the nobles doesn't remove the problem exactly, it just puts a patch job on it until time passes on and then more corrupt people get in power. But at the very least, Dorothea has made me feel like, alright, at the very least, if I do end up attacking the Golden Deer and taking out Claude, Hilda, Judith, Flame, I can rely on this story to kind of help me go through. Maybe this is just me getting too emotional, but that was good, Dorothea. For that reason, I might follow the Emperor. But who knows, Edelgard has a B rank left. She still got one more chance. We'll see. I can't look at her supports. Like, come on, we were just looking at supports. Where are they? Yeah. She still got a B rank. We'll see what that gives me. Maybe she'll change my mind then on the war or so much else. But, alright. With that being said, this has been Blade. Thank you all so much for watching, if you did watch the whole thing, because honestly, this is probably a lot of what people wanted to know. I'm probably going to finish. I'm most likely going to face Kranya tomorrow, or day after tomorrow, either Christmas Day or day after Christmas. And by then, I will have seen Edelgard's B rank, and that'll be all the information I have. So, post your thoughts down in the comments below as always, and I will see you all next time. And now it is time for the question of the day, and hopefully I explained things. I was watching that back and I was like, I feel like I explained things well. Of course, I didn't touch on every little detail, but I think I got the general point across. So, last time I asked you all about being a relic user. This time I'm going to ask you all, would you like to be a descendant of Sothis? That doesn't mean like someone like Ray, I'm not trying to say that. More so trying to focus on someone like Flame, or at the very least, you know, you're someone who has a genuine crest, like the crest that you're born with is yours, you know? And I'm assuming that comes with other benefits as well, like long life and, you know, etc. I'm pretty sure even Flame can transform, she just never does. So, with that being said, please post your thoughts down in the comments below, and I will see you all next time.